character, do you think any of us would have, like, as a memorial for Everett's character? Or Everett. Sorry. That old man kind of rough.
No. That's a good question. Would you all like to memorialize Everett?
Well, Dia only knew him in passing, so it wouldn't necessarily be something they would particularly get into. I mean, they'd probably say a few words, and they'd wait until that 7-hour trip.
And so, well, we still have a few minutes for Dami. Dear friends and coterie members, we are gathered here today to enjoy the hobby of ours that we love so dearly. And today is kind of a hard day for the characters as they will awaken once more into the night without the company and succor of their good friend and associate Everett Yeager. He was a disloyal but true friend. He was a passionate and arrogant Tremere who might have been better suited to the stereotypical Toreador in regards to expressing himself. He used the very potent magics of his blood to control and niggle the world around him. His efforts and politicized secrets, backstabbings, and passion for life will be missed.
I like that, yeah.
Alright, so people, wonderful, lovely members of the troop of Dalton, welcome. I want to thank you all for taking time with me. It is, as always, a pleasure. First and foremost, I want to thank you. I really, really do. I want you all to know that I really, really enjoy this hobby of ours, and I really am always looking forward to the chance to actually live play. To play in general, but especially there's a sweet spot for live playing. Watching you all inhabit the characters and breathe their lives. The role play is very, 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 very enjoyable for me. And officially, this is the beginning of In the Shadow of the White City, Season 2, Episode 6. And the title of today's episode is We Find Ourselves. Now, when we last left our troop, Dia was closing her door to the world, preparing for the day's death. Abner drawing the closet door closed in David and Dami's room to drift away into nothingness, awaiting the death that comes with sunrise. And as he does so, cautioning to not be wakened, David and Dami, moving to the room proper, are surprised to find their bathroom door opening and a small Asian woman with glasses stepping out. Her chin pulled slightly to her chest, almost in a pre-fighter stance to keep from being clocked right on the button. And so we open with David and Dami staring down this Asian woman who has exited from their bathroom.
Who are you? The hand slides slowly towards Cable.
David would say the same, or just gawked with his mouth wide open.
It is late. You all can't leave, not without risking burning when the sun rises above the horizon line. I cannot leave without fear for burning once the sun rises above the horizon line. You all took from, and no one knows who you are. I intend to find out, but for now, being as you all took so very, very long in returning, we all are stuck here for the day. Can we all agree to that?
We can only take day. We'll deal with this tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow.
Yes, tomorrow. And she begins backing into the bathroom as if she's some cartoon villain and closes the door firmly.
Good job, Jay. Good job. Good job.
Wait, was this that tiny
Yeah,
lady?
exactly. Yeah.
Oh. Oh no.
Yeah, just like that.
So knowing that you're sleeping less than 20 feet from a kindred you don't know and who doesn't know you, are there anything else that you guys are doing to prepare for the death that is coming on as the sun is nearing the horizon line?
I'm going to put my back to the door. That way I can at least block the door with myself and keep myself at the lowest possible weight. Keyboard small in the back, lean slightly to the right so that I can reach behind it if need be with it and actually have access to it. I don't know her, but I know she's pretty pissed because what happened previously. So tomorrow I'm gonna hope that I wake up before she does. Otherwise things are gonna get real complicated.
Now, just so that we are aware, you do understand the bathroom door opens into the bathroom, right? So you're putting your back against the front door to the room, or you're trying to put your back against the door to the restroom, to the bathroom?
To the door to the room, not the bathroom.
Okay.
I actually had the same idea to put the most distance I can between her and me, and have my gun in my hand as I fade away for the day. Hopefully able to draw it in time.
Excellent. That's always a very good idea. And as the camera of our eye moves from Dami and David, shoulder to shoulder, eyes on the restroom door, as the sun crests the horizon, we shift Dia. Alone in your room, is there anything else that you would like to do before death takes you?
Dia is gonna call Nicole.
Okay. Child, this better be very, very good. You know what time it is.
I do. I promise you I do. But I needed to let you know how things are going. Terribly. We're going to Indiana tomorrow night. Of all places. Finding this missing princess. Which was this whole farce was about in the first place. But guess what? We
I'm
have
listening. Don't barely. You know how close?
mix of hooligans. One of them threatened him to shoot me with his crossbow, I believe. Hilarious, mind you. But yeah, he's gonna be a real pleasure to have along, sure. But should I not come back, look for him first. Well, actually, I would never let him kill me, honestly. But
why would you let Tremere kill you? Those warlocks, they are spooky, but they're not dangerous. And all the threats in the world, I'm sure can be absolved if you just take Everett shopping.
that's not who it is. Everett's dead, actually.
Oh no.
Yeah.
And you can hear the rustle of silk sheets in motion as she sits up. That will not go well at all.
Couldn't be helped.
understand.
There was a lupine involved.
Oh God. You know that James is a region south suburbs.
Yeah.
And that man, for as nice as he smiles, he is one of the few warlocks that I have met that would be a threat.
Well, see, as it was not my particular fault that his child was killed, we are okay. If anything, we can definitely blame it on the guy that attempted to threaten me with his stake, because I'm pretty sure at one point there was a stake sticking out of Everett.
I think that maybe we should talk in a manner where no others might hear. When you get back to town, before speaking with Jennifer, make sure you all come visit me. we can concoct a better, more detailed explanation for what happened. If James finds out his spoiled, well-loved child is dead, there's no telling how his wrath will fall.
Agreed. Which is why I'm letting you know this now.
We've already had to get rid of one problematic elder, and Jennifer will not tolerate another happening that had to take place with Gabriella.
Agreed. Again,
All right.
Which is why I contacted you now before I died for the day. I will let you return to your sleep.
Co-opt them as best as you are able to get you all on the same page, so that it will make things easier when presenting a united front to Geneva.
Heaven help me. I will do my best.
Good night, child.
Good night.
She ends the call in a huff. You are sure that the potentialities of that news will definitely shatter some alliances and potentially violate several times over breaching the masquerade or the right of life to those involved. Anytime Nicole is telling you as a member of the Senate that James is dangerous, that means he's untenably so. That means the fallout is something to be avoided at all costs, not pointing fingers, not being in the same room with it.
And that is very much their plan. This is why they were covering their bases with letting Nicole have the heads up so they can begin planning to cover, at very least, their particular groups' butts in this. And that's pretty much it. They'll set out some clothing for the next day, something comfortable to drive in while still being stylish, of course, and that's pretty much it for the day. Locking and bolting the door, putting out the do not disturb, and no maid service, and making sure everything's tightly closed.
Okay. So as we turn our eye toward the next evening, the benefit of being a kindred, the benefit of being dead for the day, there's no time in between. Time literally doesn't pass. As much as the trappings of resting for the day and preparing for tomorrow is a physical habit, the truth of the matter is there is no time that passes. The only time that passes for a kindred when it comes to dying for the day is the lightly aware comatose state that they all enter into upon initially falling into torpor before they reach deep torpor where they no longer have to rouse for the day and drive themselves further and further from the waking world. In that light torpor where they drift off, they begin to dream and kind of sort of take in the world around them. Powerful elders who enter into this state are still able to affect the world around them. Higher generations such as yourselves merely are able to understand it happening. It's as close as most kindred will ever come to actually dreaming, to actually entering into that subconscious state to solve their problems and otherwise get by. So, in alphabetical order, starting with David, awakening, eyes slamming open. There's a skittering, understated, muffled sound of movement in the restroom, splashing of water. What is your waking action with your beast having decided to play hide and seek with your consciousness?
First action would be, with gun still in hand that I died with, jump up onto my feet, very worriedly pointing the gun around looking for her.
Catching the sound of movement and activity in your restroom, or you can just shoot through the door?
I'll try to shoot towards whatever noise he made. No, she wants to kill me. Her former ghoul said it very well.
All right. Well, nothing like Elvis waking for the evening after a nice, freshly fried peanut butter banana sandwich and shooting the TV out. But in your case, instead of the TV, it is the bathroom door. Go ahead and roll that. Fire from the hip, it'll be dexterity and firearms. And while that roll is happening, Dia, just as like always, a snap and you're awake. You laid out the clothes, you sat preparing for death, and just like that, you're back in the same position, rising for the evening. The time between, nothing more than an eye blink, even though for the rest of the world it was a full work day plus some change and travel time.
Well, first they're going to, of course, go shower and freshen as quickly as possible.
Stepping out of the shower, you're immediately met with the sound of gunfire.
Couldn't even get dressed. They wrap the large bath sheet-sized towel around themselves tightly and head towards the sound.
You are met in the hallway with the opening doors and what the hell was that? And moving toward their door. Dami, there is no time that passes. Literally, you brace against the wall, K-bar ready to be drawn. David leaps to his feet. What are you doing?
Grab my K-bar and start scanning the area.
As you're scanning the area, back removing the door, standing on your feet, the bathroom door starts to splinter as David is firing into it.
Man, what's going on? What the hell?
It's me or her, man.
You're tripping. You can't actually shoot through a door. That only happens in movies. That doesn't work. Chill out.
She wants me dead. Her ghoul said it herself.
She's gonna kill both of us if you start shooting through the door, and she's probably some high-ranking muckety-muck in this town. If you kill her, we're not getting out. Chill. We'll deal with that later.
As that's happening, Dia, how are you getting into the room with the gunshots? Hearing the muffled voices from inside.
I am more worried about the very obvious masquerade breach going on right now in the hallway. So I am going to try to charm any kindred, not kindred, a kind I see into going back into their rooms.
Okay. All right. So that being the case, what ability of your aura, what ability of your presence are you attempting to use? Or you're not going to bolster your persona with presence, you're merely just going to attempt to smile and no, it's fine. It's my brothers, they're hunters, you know how those guys are. Or you're going to actually use any of your dark, mystical blood to heighten effects of your...
I'm hoping persuasion and subterfuge, because she's lying her butt up.
Okay, so you weren't using any presence.
Well, no, I'm sure all would help, so they're going to do all as well.
All right. So, that being the case, would you be so kind? Go ahead and roll, manipulation and subterfuge, and add your presence die to that.
Are they? They're using presence. Never mind. I was about to ask, are they prepared?
Okay, there are a few nosy Nellies who kind of shirk the direct effects, but for the most part, easily 85% of the people the looky-loos who are sticking their heads out our doors with phones in hand, those preparing for a world star level amount of chaotic violence dissipate almost instantaneously, including the maid who was moving down the hall towards the gentleman's door to investigate more directly instead of doing the smart thing and calling building security. You're sure that someone not on this floor may have already called building security, as per most, which means you know that you are officially completely locked. What's your next action?
Oh yeah, it's aware. I am aware of the fact that this is stalling, and we need to one make this stop and two get out of here before they come investigate. So after that, it's a hurried but not overly loud knock on the door with a very harshly whispered, "You're drawing too much attention. Stop. Open the door."
David, Dami, as you're firing into the restroom, David, you and Dami hear that outside your door. In the restroom, however, there's a, "What the fuck are you doing? I wanted to kill you."
Oh shit, my mic came on, done. I'm so sorry.
David, Dami.
I just lost a coterie member and was attacked by lupines just yesterday. I'm a little on edge. I apologize for for kind of shooting at you. This looks even worse now.
It is. They haven't come out of the restroom, but you do hear the pounding at your front door, Dami. Oh. Execution, Dami, slightly better. Oh, you're actually clear.
That makes me feel both.
Okay, so just to clarify, make sure that we are all on the same page. The pounding from your front door, and David explaining to the person inside the restroom that he's having a rough time and didn't mean to potentially kill someone. With Dia pounding on your front door, you move toward the restroom.
No, I apologize. I'm going to go and open the door for Dia. I unfortunately didn't hear that action.
Opening your door, Dia standing there in a towel that lets you know that they are, in fact, post-shower.
Evening.
You do realize.
Would you like to come in?
No, we have to leave. You have now alerted everybody in the hotel that there is a gunfight going on this floor, and we have very little time until they get to security. I stalled them, but we don't have a lot of time. I have to go get dressed. So figure it the fuck out. I will be back.
I'll meet you at the Hellcat.
What about...
Now I go check on the bathroom.
Oh, no need. As you all are standing there talking, Dawn opens the door, considerably far worse for wear and considerably more pissed than was visible. Mainly because she came unarmed is the primary factor probably keeping you all safe in this particular moment. Small though she is, it is clear that there is some tremulation of power radiating from her. You almost killed me, and I had planned on having a conversation. Dia?
Apologies, he's a bit twitchy. Would you like to join us?
I would love to have a conversation.
Well, we might have to talk and run a bit now, because...
No. You shot me through a door. You owe me a conversation at my leisure, not yours.
So, what did you have to say to me?
To you? So you're accepting responsibility for killing my ghouls?
It was both me. I thought they were police here to exterminate us, or worse.
They might have in the course of their activities, but only in the execution of their activities as it pertains to their job. You took things from me. So how will we settle this? Dia, have you left them standing at the door, you and Dami, or are you there as well?
Oh no, they were quite serious about needing to get dressed and getting ready to leave. So as soon as they said what they had to say, they went back to their room to get dressed because they are not going to leave their clothes or things in this hotel.
Okay. So that being the case, David, Dami, do me a favor. Go ahead and roll a composure plus intelligence for me. Dami, you have your roll as well? All right, gentlemen, you guys have an opportunity to tell me a story. You guys want to go alphabetical or counter alphabetical in this?
Dami, go first.
All right, Dami, everything that you know about yourself, about your time thus far. If you were to punish yourself with the worst moment to be stuck in for eternity, what would that be?
For Dummy, worst moment for eternity would be to be away from his loved ones for eternity. Being just out of reach where he can see them, but he can't communicate with them or touch them. That would be probably his worst moment.
Okay. And David, knowing everything you do about your life thus far, the moments that have come before and all that you've shared, what would be David's worst moment to be stuck in for eternity?
Being buried alive again, like he was back in 1999.
So as she demands a conversation, as Dawn is, what will you do to make it right? How are you? As she's talking, Dami, you are falling backwards. Literally falling. The floor is falling away from you. You are in your home at your computer. And you look up and you see that it is a bright, sunshiny Tuesday. The sun is out, the birds are chirping. Your vampirism having been cured by some strange aspect of taking on full embrace of the Samdi. They managed to bring you back in reward for finding out those who killed Olamide. They combined their might, their ability, and their skill and gave you a second chance. Olamide will be over in roughly about 15, at least that's what you thought. The walls fall away and you are there with your father as he moves closer and closer to the grand old age of 100. And you know that it's not real. You know that you're not there. And you know that what you are seeing as your family lives their life with trying to connect with them and passing right through them with every opportunity to touch them, your hand fades into nothing or reaches through them, or you reach out for a hug and fall through them. You know you're not there. You know it's not real, but it very much is. It's bad enough when you start talking to yourself and realizing that it's not real. So 1 year turns into next, and 2 years turns into 5. Before you know it, you're keeping the days that pass with tick marks on your skin, carving them in with the remnants of your computer, because you can't even connect with them electronically. The world is passing you by. You don't need to eat, but the hunger remains. And as 1 year turns into 2, 2 into 10, 10 into... David, as a kid, making mud pies, playing in the dirt, was quite as close to heaven as you could be as a kid. Playing outside football and just hanging with the kids down the block. It was as close to nirvana as you could be. Even in high school, with the advent of being able to actually get your hands on some really good pot, occasionally a line or two or a bump or two. Okay. A case of beer between the 6 of you, with maybe someone having gotten their cheap Wild Irish Rose or Mad Dog 2020. Good time. But they weren't as pure as those moments back when you were a child, playing in the dirt, running up and down the street, driving the parents absolutely crazy. You thought you knew what dirt tasted like then. Of course, every kid has tried it. Every kid has tried to put their face into dirt or fallen or otherwise gotten, on purpose or accident, that moist, warm stuff into their mouth. Unfortunately, knowing that taste from those pure days is nothing like the accurate stench of grave dirt. It is foul and lifeless, moist and yet dry enough to make you cough up your lungs, in some cases literally. You've done this before. You've clawed your way out before, so this is nothing new. This is doable. You know it's horrible. You need to get free, but as you climb closer to what you hope is salvation, you realize that instead of going up, every time you roll over to not dig down, you realize that you are in fact digging further and further. And you know that as the pressure is building, that if you stop digging, you will never escape. But the more you dig, the deeper you go, the farther you are from escape. But if you stop, you know that there is no hope for tomorrow. There is no hope at all. You've already passed more body parts and bits and pieces of things than you care to mention, and you know that you have to keep going. Dia, the gunshots that echoed through the hotel were loud enough to wake the dead. Bags in hand, you've never really had to carry your own things. Do you go back to get the boys to help you with your belongings, or do you follow Dami's orders and go to bar?
For that.
Yeah. Dear experiencing technical difficulties?
Sorry about that. I couldn't hear anybody.
Okay. Well, with being away from your retainers and away from Nicole and all those, would you follow Dami's orders and head to the Hellcat, or would you go back and have them come help you with your bags?
I can get my own bags. I'm not worried about that. But I do remember that David had said the night before that we were taking their car because the Hellcat needed to be repaired. So I will have taken my bags to the elevator, drop them off in the lobby, and then head back up to make sure that we are getting out of here a little quicker.
Their door is open. Not completely wide, but it is clearly that someone didn't pull it closed. Go in, inspect the door.
I kind of carefully stick my head in, remembering as there were gunfire going on before it. It's gone quiet, but I stick my head in. What part of we need to go? Wait a minute.
Easing toward the door, your spider sense tingling. You open the door just a little more to stick your head in and find Dami and David on their sides, their eyes blank and cataract-like. If you didn't know the fact that they were up and moving a moment before, David's gun still smoking, you would believe that they had entered into the land of the dead. You would believe that you were staring at corpses, which is what any person, any human that happens upon this think, especially with the 4 or 5 gunshot holes in the bathroom door. The fact of the ruckus earlier in the evening, they very much do look dead.
Do I see anybody else?
No, you do not. And based on the activity at the front desk, you have roughly 3 actions.
I walk my way across, again, head on a swivel, making sure, even though I didn't see anybody, that I don't get snuck up on, and I go to Dami and try to snap them out of whatever is going on.
How?
Well, I know it seems a little cliche, but I slap them across the face.
Dami, what's your stamina?
Give me a moment. It takes a little bit longer for me to do so over a phone.
Oh, no worries. Here, let me do that. I'll see if I can open it.
I'm gonna do it.
Okay. There we go. And Dia, are you swatting with enough force to try to shock them, or are you doing the polite pat, pat, pat? Here.
No,
Back to me.
this is an emergency. They're getting smacked.
All right, strength and brawl. You know what your target number is. You have to put an significant force behind it because Dami is tougher than he seems. Though well muscled and clearly exercised and before dying.
Wait, does that do you even add the fortitude as well?
What's your total fortitude?
It's actually two. But for some reason, the sheet didn't say because I had one for mind and one for body.
All right. Yeah, swing away. You've hit harder things. Can't remember which one was harder. What the time you punched through the offending Dustborn, or was it the time that you slapped and dislocated the gentleman, the former army sergeant's jaw? But both times, the reverberation of doing so ran up your arm to nearly your elbow. As you slap Donnie, your palm not only begins to vibrate of its own, your elbow seems considerably less secure. You are exactly 2 successes below what you need. That counts as 1 action. What are you doing?
And that did nothing. They didn't, no flinch, no reaction.
Nope.
I look for a luggage cart.
They're heathens. They didn't bother to bring one in. But there is the stand that comes in the room. It's your luggage on, with no luggage on it.
That's not helpful. Sticking my head out in the hallway, is there a... shoot. When they bring the food up... I am having a mental blank. Room service cart.
Yes, there is. It's down the hall. And the elevator is opening. That's 3 actions. Several things occur to you in this moment. That gunshot was loud enough to wake the dead. You haven't seen Abner. There was no one else in that room. And hotel security is approaching it as the elevators open and 3 suited men with the build of middle linebackers begin heading in that direction. What is it that you do?
Do I have time to roll them under the bed?
You're in the hall.
So I stuck my head out into the hall. But if I'm already closer to the hall than I am the inside of the room, I will step out into the room. Out into the hall and try again to awe presence, persuade them to go away.
They are heading in that direction. So that's easier. You don't have to do too much. So go ahead, give it a roll. What is it that you're attempting to persuade them? Hey, Mister, is this your room? We need to come in and make a spot check. We have reports of gunfire, and before we allow the police on the floor, we want to make sure that there is no reason to prohibit them.
No, I'm a neighbor, but I don't see anybody really in there, and saw somebody running towards the stairwell. That's probably who shot. You might want to chase them.
What do they look like?
I describe Everett.
The clear leader of them. Do you know why are you in their room? And as he steps away, keeping all points out, there's a tall Japanese man with how do you describe the haircut? A bob, earrings, dressed fancy, purportedly the shooter.
Well, I was in because I wanted to check and make sure that everybody was okay. I'm just a concerned citizen, typically.
Thank you for your concern. It might be better if you head back to your room. We're not sure that the suspect has left the premises. We have people on the ground floor looking for him now. Is there anything else you can tell us about this room? About the people that were here? Was it just a Japanese gentleman?
Well, that's part of my concern. I was supposed to be meeting friends, and they gave me this room number, and I haven't seen them since last night, so I'm assuming it had something to do with that, but I'm from out of town, so...
It's the radio immediately. There may be a murder or missing persons. Send the police right on up. Ma'am, let me escort you back to your room while they come and make their investigation. We want to make sure that everyone is as safe as possible. On behalf of the Hilton, we do apologize about all of this drama. And you are? What room number are you in?
I point to the next one. Like, one over the one that I came out of.
Excellent. Let's go ahead and get you back here. The police will probably want to ask you questions when they get here. As far as your friends, their details, what they look like, and go from there in regards to making sure that we really do want to make sure that everyone is safe. The two men that are not the leaders take up positions at the door to keep anyone else from entering and exiting as he's walking towards your room. And of course, he does the unfortunate, very old school and less than consenting rests his hand against the middle of your back between your shoulder blades as he escorts you bodily towards your
Lovely. But if I were to drop their number by at least one, would that help us or hurt us? Because things are already upside down.
Things are. It is 9:30. Let's take a quick 10 minutes and then come back as Dia is being escorted by the security officer to her room. Abner has not been seen, and Dami and David are literally in the middle of the maddest versions of their hell as possible. So to keep track of the time, gentlemen, you all missed your goal by 2. So literally every second of play is roughly 2 decades you are spent in that hell. So I'll see you guys back here in 10 minutes, which puts us at 42 after the hour.
So wait, is Abner just basically oversleeping right now?
You don't know?
No one knows. That's the problem. We can go check if we wasn't busy and something weird.
But remember, he did tell you not to bother him, and he also said that he was going to go do stuff early in the morning. Well, not, you know what I mean. You know what I mean, right? No? Okay.
Trying to get all the vampires except yourself and us killed things.
Maybe.
I would kind of hope not, because Tommy's been nothing but nice guy. You thought Abner was okay.
Well, that's why I said everyone but himself and his coterie are just. And he probably sees us as just lower on the list, useful contacts for now. That's what I always saw it as.
Or father, depending on his personal alignment.
Berg.
Was that Greg that just left?
Do what?
Was that Greg that just left?
Greg just left? What?
No,
Yeah,
Craig is still here.
Okay, I heard something just left. I wasn't sure.
Yeah, we're getting weird. The Discord is acting a little weird, but we're mostly back, and my service keeps dropping down into dot. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Hopefully it stays above that because it just dropped down to 1 bar and 2 bars, so we'll see. Now that everyone's back, we're going to speed through this a little bit. So when he escorts Dia back to their room, are there any actions that Dia is going to take or attempt to take? Dia, did you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, there we go. Did you hear me? Are there any actions you're taking as the security chief leads you back to Diaz?
They are going to turn a smile towards the security guard, put their hand on his upper arm and kind of give it a squeeze, and you're so strong and protective. Thank you for walking me back to my room. Would you like to come in for a nightcap?
We're not supposed to go into any other
Hotel.
rooms.
I could use something to calm my nerves. And they bat their lashes.
All right. Go ahead and roll your charisma and persuasion with, if you have any special seduction. Did you catch any of that?
Yep, just counting up the dice full.
Okay. He looks to his men and I'm gonna go 10-10. I'll be back. Let's step inside. I'm just gonna make sure that this perimeter is secure. Yeah. His excitement and him fumbling over his words is a clear sign that he is up to no good and has only the worst of intentions in regards to maintaining carrying out his duties. As you all step across the threshold, you hear the unfortunate sounds of police mobiles as they are clearly on scene. The elevator having not dinged because the stylishness of the hotel didn't allow for such petty frivolities such as a dinking elevator. But as the police exit and make their way toward the room, you hear their mobiles echoing down the hall. Skilled though they are in dealing with traumatic situations, they are unprepared to find 3 dead bodies in a room where the door has clearly been fired through. The next hour is a frantic circus, and at all points is placed to find Everett, the clear-cut suspect in the triple homicide that is taking place. For all the signs of violence that have taken place in this room, they can't find any blood. They can't find any, reasons why these bodies stopped where they were. So it is a mystery, and to which they pour as many resources as they are able. In this time, you and your security agent have spent a few moments divesting him of his much needed blood and your much savored blood. Him returning to duty to all the world seeming a little bit higher than he was, a little bit more out of it than usual. In that time, what is it that Dia is attempting to accomplish?
Okay, so the time that it takes them to get the bodies carted, I guess, away, or them to try to search the room and whatever they're doing, that's the time me and him spend together, or is it less than the time me and him spend together?
That's over. That's done. You guys have already finished and completed and moved on. This next hour and a half, while everyone's busy, what is it that Dia is attempting to do?
Dia is attempting to make sure that she sticks close to the police without getting in their way, because they want to know where the bodies are being taken, so that hopefully when things are less guarded, they can spring the 3 of them out.
All right. Should be so kind as to roll charisma and subterfuge to stay in and around a crime scene without becoming an immediate person of interest, with escaping their attentions as a potential witness to what took place, and for being able to follow along as they remove the bodies from the crime scene.
Okay, so I was at 1 hunger before the guard, am I at 0 because I drink from them, or did it just keep it at 1?
0 can only go past your hunger minimum, which in most cases 1 by killing. The person has to die for you to reduce it to 0, basically. Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's normal to me, but that's why I asked, just to be absolutely sure.
Somehow, in the grand circus of a crime scene, he manages to flit and move from conversation to conversation, staying just on the edge as a looky-loo and avoiding being the person identified as a witness to this triple homicide. The reporters and other gadflies that flock to the scene, parting with knowledge and information as to where the bodies were, which doctors might be manipulable to find out any details. And 4 hours later, Dia finds herself at St. Christopher's Trauma Center. The bodies must be identified and ruled DOA before the rest of the investigation on paper can continue. It is clear that they are dead, however, they need someone to declare them as such and find the reason behind it. So St. Christopher's is a 9-story tall central complex near the medical center of downtown Milwaukee. It is easily accessible by 3 expressways and several main roads. It's not more than 10 minutes from Marquette University. It is also, unfortunately, one of the major trauma centers of the city. So it is packed and filled with people coming in with all sorts of infirmities, from the common cold to the common stabbing. Milwaukee, while not as packed and congested population-wise, is considerably far more violent, especially on the weekends, where shootings are a matter of cause, so much so that most people don't even bother to call the police, especially in the southwestern portions of the city, where gun violence is the number one determiner of whether you really live in a real tough neighborhood or not. So Dia, knowing the hospital, knowing where they are, how and what is Dia attempting to accomplish when removing 3 deceased bodies?
First order of business is getting their hair put up, and they're going to get one of those weird surgical hat things to kind of obscure their looks, because obviously Dia is pretty standoutish as far as looks go and height. So they're going to do the mask thing, hat, and try to get maybe a lab coat or something, and use that to work their way into the morgue so that they can figure out how to, 1, wake the 2 that are weirdly dead up, and then decide on waking the 3rd, because they said not to wake them up. So they need to figure some things out, and then hopefully if we can get them up and moving, then we can figure out a way together to get them all out. If not, then I will be trying to find another way to get them out of the hospital so I can take them somewhere else.
Okay, so your goal is to sneak into the basic morgue of the hospital and what?
Okay, so now we've already established I know what they're like, the white in the eyes. I don't know what caused this. Would I have any guess at all what possibly might have caused this?
Kindred knowledge might help. So intelligence and occult. You'd need a minimum of 3 successes to get a general idea. And for the record, David, it has been 18 minutes. Add 2 decades for every minute. That places you all trapped in those hells for 360 years. So
she's gonna pay. That goes without question. I just didn't figure that it needs to be expounded on.
How are our minds still intact? 300 years of loneliness.
kind of the point, Day. She's trying to basically torture us because
I don't have a cult, so I'm trying to figure out what I can do to bolster.
You can rouse any stat roll.
Yeah, that's what.
Alright, your beast is not getting hungrier. Go ahead and add that 2 die to whatever to your intelligence. Give it a roll. And just like that, as you sneak into the morgue, the examiner, having stepped away to train the lizard, which is a strange turn of a phrase for a woman examiner, but that's the one she said to herself as she paused the recorder. Dami laying on the table, his shirt cut away, his pants in the midst of being cut away, his shoes already removed simply because he wears, slip-on combat boots, so a little easier. He's laying there on the table, and as you look into his cold, dead eyes, you realize there are several mental abilities that fall under the purview of the mad and the kings that may have caused this situation. Him being locked away from life, locked away from himself within his own mind. And unfortunately, as you see, based on the fact that his shirt was being cut away to begin the autopsy, he's made of far sterner stuff than you might have thought.
Well, since I've figured out the somewhat nature of magic that's got him locked, but I know how to reverse it or interrupt it.
Your initial idea was a good one. Unfortunately, you didn't hit hard enough or strong enough to jog him back to this moment, to this time, to bring him back to his semblance of life. Or not to beat yourself up too much, you were far too weak for the matter at hand. And while physicality is a matter that should be within your purview, it is the physicality of titillation, physicality of sensuousness, not combat, not sheer turn with your hips into the blow.
Well, being in the morgue, I'm sure there's tools somewhere. I look for like a mallet or something with some heft to it.
Okay, you find what looks like a severely heavy bedpan, except for it is roughly half of your fingers length in thickness. It is used to hold removed organs.
And I give him a whack.
Strength and melee.
Am I still bolstered from the rouse, or do I have to re-rouse?
You didn't rouse strength. You rouse intelligence.
Okay.
Add 2 to your strength. And roll your strength and melee and make it happen. Dami, you reach out to your sister. You never really gotten along with her, but the fact that you can't hear her assail you, wasting your potential, the fact that you can't hear her assail and make ideas as to how you should go about marketing your business, the fact that you have watched her care for your father and then her children and her children's children, you stand over her grave as your great granddaughter, your grandniece, is there laying flowers on the grave, having watched one family member turn to the next, and with your great several times removed niece looking the spitting image, you reach out to touch her, knowing that your hand is going to fall through her being. And as she's talking to your sister, she turns around and punches you square enough in the nose to cause you to bleed. You look up into blinding lights. There's a chill to the air that you're not accustomed to. It's normally not this cold in Dalton around this time of year. Hell, you know the seasons without even thinking about them. Right now it should be a nice, comfortable 71 degrees. Very little breeze. The frost having just left. The trees beginning to bud. You've even had begun naming the trees that have grown and been cut down. Your home having fallen into waste and being bulldozed and rebuilt by several other people. And you're staring into this cold, dead light that's bright enough to obfuscate anything except for directly in front of it is that you do.
Set up and scan the room as quickly as I can. Reaching for anything that looks successful for it.
Have you ever watched wrestling? Old wrestling back when it was WWF and right as it was becoming WWE.
Yeah, I like the guys in the tights.
Yeah. You've watched The Undertaker make a comeback several dozens of times. And the way that he sits up, mocking and mimicking the corpse come to life, that's exactly what you witness, and there is a tremulation of fear, because you know how strong physically Dami is. And the alien look of lack of recognition that sits there in his eyes is enough to know that your life is potentially at risk. What is it that you say?
It's Dia, and we need to get you and David out of here. Please come to your senses.
The clearly hospital worker is not just a standard hospital. They are clearly not a source of vitae. Well, blood, but they may be a source of vitae. Just over their shoulder, David is sprawled on a cold metal slab. To your left, on the other slab, is Abner. His wound on his forehead, the driest you've ever seen it. It is not bandaged, and his skin looks sallow as it's beginning to slowly sink in on itself. What is it that you do, Dami?
As quickly as I can, the hospital worker. They're back into me, right?
No, they just talked to you.
Disregarding that for a brief second, if Abner looks like he's in this condition, I'm going to go towards him first. I'll deal with the hospital workers shortly. I can catch them before they leave the room.
Isn't he a source of blood?
They are, but I'm only at blood. I'm only down one, so not particularly. I'm hungry, but not starving, so it's minor.
Which is weird after almost 400 years. You'd expect to be hungrier.
I'm asking because of what hunger torpor does.
Yeah, but for 300 and some odd years, if the beast was there, it would be more pronounced. Right now, it's just kind of there, which is a normal hunger. That's why I'm able to ignore it for right now. If it was higher, then...
No, I was referring to from Abner's perception.
Abner didn't have perception just yet. Abner is literally not there.
Well, not literal, you know what I mean. Like, you know how torpor works normally? Sorry, I had to put something to past.
Tommy, looking at Abner, what is it that you're doing? Yeah, you are aware there has been no recognition, even with your voice.
I tried to see if I can touch Abner, and will my hand go through it, or will it fade away, or do I actually feel him?
Abner's actually there. That's actually Abner's corpse. Body.
Can I give him I'll give him a good slap to see if it does anything?
You slap him because you want to. No, it doesn't. Not even so much as a bruise.
Now I turn my attention to the hospital worker. You're either going to wake them or feed them, your choice.
I pull the mask down and give them a very hard look. I'm going to what?
Oh, yeah. What happened? Give me a situation breakdown. What happened?
Well, we mostly don't have very much time before whoever went to the bathroom comes back. We might want to block that door, by the way. Gunshot.
Another 80 years.
Happened. I tried.
80 years. Go on, Dia. Sorry.
Gunshots happened. The cops showed up after I tried to distract them away, and I have them chasing Everett because they think he is the shooter. I found you two like this, and I point to David. We need to wake him up. Pain works. You hit him and wake him up.
I give him a fresh one.
All right. Strength and brawl. David, what's your stamina?
3.
Wait, you are punching David, or are you punching Abner?
First David, then Abner.
Okay.
My stamina is 3.
All right. Do you also have any ranks of fortitude?
I do not.
Excellent. Dominic, Strength and brawl when you get the opportunity. You are passing by Alan, who was should have technically graduated the year before you left. When you pass him, you realize that there is nothing left there, as nothing has been left there any other times that you've passed him or any of the other members of your team that were buried with you. The dirt begins to have a strange and mildly enjoyable taste. It's only enjoyable because you don't have anything else. And even though it loses all sense of being able to be measured against anything but itself, that you know that if you stop, you will never be able to start again. But the idea of stopping becomes more and more tantalizing. And then it begins to rain. And you can tell because the moisture is seeping down and covering you. This thick, oozing ichor. And just as you give up, or the thought settles in to stop digging. Just be here. There's no escape. You smell the stinging scent of chemical. It's not rain. Someone is watering earth around you with what smells like bleach. And you realize that the dirt all around you, the body parts have solidified in a hard, near concrete-like wall. Do you open or to attempt to open your eyes one last time and let the dirt become part of you as you give up, David?
I'll hold my eyes and try to look at what's left of my compatriots.
You open your eyes to a bright white tiled floor. You can tell the grout lines have been scrubbed because while they're white, they're a grayer white than the other tile. You see feet at the periphery of your vision. You see brightness around you, and the smell of the chemicals that have been used to clean this area hits you like a brick wall. You want to roll in it and taste it and take it in because it's for once something different than the scent of moist dirt.
Where am I? What?
If we got time, we're explaining the car.
Tommy? I thought.
Yeah.
Where is it?
Yeah, we're gonna deal with that later. We're gonna deal with her a little bit later, but we gotta go now.
All right. Where's my gun? Shit.
As you stand up and take in the sight, you realize that you, Dami, Dia, and Abner are in a morgue. Abner is laying on a slab table, looking like to all the world like what he is, a actual corpse. The bandages that were normally kept around his forehead and upper head are gone, and you realize that the scar on his face is unlike the bandages that were always there, not leaking any blood. You realize that he's dead, as dead as you all are, but the unmoving kind.
I gave him a slap 3 successes.
Yeah, no. Would you be going to roll your intelligence and slap him as if your life depends on it, or better, more accurately, as if his life depends on it. You know what that other side is. You know what it's like to go on endlessly unable to touch or be touched. Even the thin facsimile of life that you have now, there is still touch, there are still experiences. You're able to take in the world like the vacuum and void that you are. But that existence, the nothingness, being alone.
So is he dead, or is he just in the same state that we were in?
Would you be so kind as to roll your intelligence and occult?
Hunger to it? I have no idea.
Sure.
What's wrong with this guy?
Sure you do. Basic kindred physiology. He has gone into the land of beyond. He has temporarily died. He is in effectively a kindred coma. That only happens when you've taken enough damage to stop the body from ever being able to move, or you've been staked, or your beast's call has gotten the best of you. It has drained you and divested you of all semblance of vitae, and you are dead to the world in all but actuality.
Yeah, give me something sharp.
There's Scalpel. on the table.
Yeah, give me that. Drain some blood into his mouth.
Do you need me to donate any?
We just need to get him up and running. Keep an eye on that door, make sure no one comes through it.
Alright, gotcha.
I take the wrist, cover my wrist and drain it and open his mouth and let it drain into his mouth.
Well now, you're so kind and giving. Forcing the vitae forward, would you be so kind as to go ahead and roll a rouse roll for me, please?
0 successes.
Your beast comes screaming back to life like your long lost, the hate of your entire existence. It is you and you are it, but it is all of your base impulse, namely that drive to survive no matter what. And you have kept it at bay forever. And it is quite rightfully angry at you for it. It is quite rightfully demanding that you satiate it. Quite rightfully demanding.
I'll deal with it in a brief moment. Does Abner begin to stir?
We shall see. Abner, what is your humanity level?
My humanity level? 6.
6. Ooh.
Which,
All right.
if we were going by raw, 1 month.
We're not. We never do. It's
Making sure.
just a suggestion. It is a guide mark. It is a North Star to hit
I'm
your
aware.
wagons to. Would you be so kind as to roll your humanity? Unfortunately, with only one success, that still means you need to get a 3 in regards to your successes because he only donated 1 hunger to you.
So the difficulty is 3?
Yes.
Okay. I wanted to be more dramatic, but still, this works.
Unfortunately, there's several things that happen, as they always do in such chaotic moments such as this, as the smell and hint of life reaches your undead and dead to the world nostrils, and as the warm ichor of another kindred's very existence begins to coat throat, your beast rouses you instantaneously, fangs exposed and the urge to latch on to that source. You are ravenous after all, have 4 hunger, and there's blood present. Not blood, your blood present. Your favorite dish in the entirety of existence.
Roll to resist frenzy? Or no?
If you would like. You just died, as close to death as you had been before your embrace. Allow your beast to have leash and drink its fill, or you try to restrain.
Hey, ride the wave. Ride the wave.
All right, so Dami, your beast kicking and screaming and fighting you from the inside. David, you and Dia watching on as Abner snaps to life like the worst jump scare from the scariest back lizard brain that still remains of your human life.
His third eye, by the way, is fully opened at this point.
Literally screaming from the depths and dark subconsciousness, that thing out there just in the dark, willing to eat you down, to drink you down. And that is what Abner is. His eyes would be bloodshot if there was any blood presence in his actual circulating through him, but instead all eye just bulged. His fangs extended seemingly far longer than they were before this moment, far longer than you've actually ever seen them, even when he was starving and ravening and chasing you. This is worse than that. And the morgue attendant who exited to drain her lizard comes happily whistling back. What is it that everyone is doing? Dami, are you attempting to fight fight Abner off? Are you attempting to restrain him from drinking you dry? Because you know how tempting that precious vitae of yours is. David, what are you doing torn between Abner being a ravening beast and the morgue attendant returning through the door? The same question to you, Dia, in alphabetical order.
alphabetical. She goes first.
Nope, Abner's done. And then you, then Dia, then Dami.
I'm going to try to rouse my blood and create a short flash of light in front of the morgue attendant. I shouldn't be distracted for a second. To not get in between those two titans over there fighting.
Dia.
I am going to look elsewhere in the morgue for maybe blood that might have been taken from one of the other bodies, just so that we have a way to calm Abner down, and then start thinking of a way to get us all out of here.
I am going to monkey flip Abner into the lavender.
Okay. All right, so that being the case, David, go ahead and roll your chemistry.
I did.
Ooh. Dia, roll your wits and larceny.
This is like my 5th or so botch now on chemistry. I've not had luck with it.
That's not a botch yet.
I mean, botch in the normal English sense, just messing it up.
Oh, fair enough. Actually, we were playing 20th edition. That would be a botch. Good thing we're not. The V has to be lowercase.
I want to blinded myself with that.
And Donnie, would you be so kind as to roll dexterity and brawl?
It wasn't the V, it was the exclamation mark instead of a 1.
Actually, now I want to test that. No, it was the V.
Dami, you get your roll? Oh! Alright, so as Abner screams from hell like the monster that he is, Dami latches onto his motion, shoulder-wise, legs placed as he comes flying up off the table, and rolls the monstrous, ravening beast that Abner is into the attendant, who stops. What the fuck? As a plasmoid of unrealistic late 80s CGI flash appears in front of her for a split second. Unsure what the fuck that was before the face of horror comes flying towards her, Abner's maw wide open and frenzied, seeking blood most apparent.
I read the wave, so I get to choose my target.
There's not really much target in regards to the fact you're crashing into a huge, you start bleeding as you land against her. Dami's not a weak person, you're a ravening beast for most purposes. You can roll your willpower to keep from feeding on her and run into the night, but that would be about it.
I will do that.
All right. You need a minimum of 3 successes to get that free action so you can go running from the...
All right. And I can't re-roll that, so...
Dia,
You're welcome.
You're gonna damn the... Okay. All right, so you're gonna damn his soul further. Good job, Dami. Good job, Abner. Good job, David, for pausing her, because she may have not been there. And Dia, you find several packs of divested blood that has been pulled and sucked into its machine. It hasn't been split yet or saved or processed, but it is a pool of just blood from the previous examination.
Okay. Remembering the fact that even though it's whole and hasn't been messed with yet, fresh isn't the only thing that would work with somebody so freshly out of torpor. So that's the problem. Only thing I can do is think to tackle them because I don't want them hurting the morgue worker.
Let's go closer.
Abner, what's your strength?
My strength is 4.
Okay, Dia, that's your target number. Strength and brawl. He is mindlessly ravishing this one.
Abner is built for strength, which is not something I'm used to doing, by the way, so I'm not good with this.
Dia is flying towards Abner. David, Dama, you see what Dia has in mind to keep Abner from completely wrecking this woman's life, or what's left of it. Literally, you are unaware whether they have a family. You are unaware whether there are any connections. You are unaware whether she may be someone else's rule in the visiting city where you are. You are unaware of all of the things that may connect to this woman. Abner is going to rip her life from her. He's going to drink her dry. You have seen or been victim to your beast giving vent before. What is it that you all are doing?
Fuck my life. I go ahead, I grab Abner from behind and a reverse rear naked choke, and I dunk his head into the pool of blood, forcing him to drink.
He needs fresh, being a fresh out of torpor. While you may provide another potential willpower roll if you manage to force him to drink enough, it will just buy you an action or a round of sanity, maybe.
Okay, fine, I give him my rest. I let him drink. I let him drink at least until his eye becomes more coherent. And I'll drink the sludge.
Do you have Iron Gullet?
I do not.
That was
No,
That was Konami. Okay, I'm so sorry.
No, I don't. No, I don't.
Excellent. We
Well,
love
if that doesn't drink, then I can't drink it either. So that's just gonna be gross. And
No.
gotta sit there.
You're going to have to try to keep it from expelling from you. And while you won't receive immediate sustenance from it, if you drink enough of it, you will be filled and may have one hunger. So that being the case, you catch up to Dia, who is crashing against this mountain of hidden muscle that Abner was. At 2 successes, when Dia dives against him as he is divesting this woman of her flesh, as his teeth are sinking in, it is literally like running into a brick wall. Dami, make your strength and brawl roll to rear naked choke him away and slip your arm into his mouth.
In this case, will my potence go into effect?
Yes,
And the strength and brawl, right?
correct.
All right.
David, watching this pell-mell, what is it that you're doing?
Three. How many do I need?
4.
Could I
Okay.
assist Dami and add some
Yes.
justice to him?
Yes.
Sorry, I got it. I've gone to willpower.
Damn it, I was hoping for that bestial.
Through some Herculean effort, he managed to wrench him off of the examiner. David, you tackle them both and move them further from the gushing victim that is lying there on the floor, shocked and amidst crying, her tears streaming down her face. She was literally assaulted, accosted by something that shouldn't exist. And David, are you going to attempt to interrupt Dami as he's easing his forearm into Abner's ravening mouth? His fangs protruded, he's clawing and fighting and attempting to get back to the victim. Because a taste is never enough. Or are you going to let Dami do it?
I recently just fed, and Dami has already given him a bit of his blood. I'll try to take one for him.
Excellent. Very nicely done. Very selfless. We're just going to go ahead and roll your rouse to provide the vitae. Keep the ravening beast whole. As you slip your arm into Abner's mouth. Your own beast says, "What the fuck are you doing? Get the fuck out of here. Let him kill that one. You know what happens if we die. We can't allow this. You need blood and you need it now." Tia, the woman is in no shape. She has not only come close to and brushed death, her chest, well, actually right above her clavicle, is still leaking profusely. It's all but spurting free. There was no tact, there was no skill, there was no intention of doing anything more but divesting her of all of her life's blood. What is it that you're doing as you're the closest to her?
I am going to try to staunch the flow the best I can by whipping off the lab coat and pressing it against the wound. And if I give them some of my blood, will it help heal them, or does that not even work with how bad they're hurt?
It does sort of work because providing her with your blood would temporarily provide her with access of a, which would speed her healing. It may provide her some calmness because it does speed healing.
That's what I'm going to do then. I'm going to staunch the blood with one hand with the lab coat and then bite into my wrist and put it to her mouth.
I see. Are you going to give her enough, or the dropped? Or are you going to give
just enough for me to see the blood stop pumping into the coat?
Okay, would you be so kind as to go ahead and roll your... Oh, pearls before swine. You were human one time, but you got better. Became than what she will ever be. The very real art that is your life being wasted on this filthy kind. Take it back. Take your blood back.
Grit my jaw and look anywhere else but at them with their mouth around my wrist.
To Abner, would you be so kind as to power?
All right. Any, it doesn't matter on difficulty. Let's see if I fail or not. Still need 3?
No.
All right.
You want to keep drinking. You didn't realize that David has such a tasty vintage. It's not quite as tart as Dami's. Not as quite as dark. It's the difference between having a nice coffee stout versus having a standard simple lager. Still good, still refreshing, and a good lager is still a damn good fine beer, and that's exactly what David is. You don't really want to stop drinking, but this is David. That was Dami. You see what your beast has reached around you. What is it that you would like to do?
If I'm still frenzying?
No.
Okay, damn. Alright, in that case, I guess I'll just stop. What is my hunger at, by the way? How much was it reduced by?
You are at 2 hunger.
Alright, just checking. As my frenzy stops, the third eye that was wide open closes back to make it look like a scar again.
So, are you done? Are you back normal then?
1 second, I say as I pick up a scalpel and bed it into the table as quick as I can.
What are you doing?
Frustration. Taking it out.
The 4 of you are in the morgue St. Christopher's. You are still in Milwaukee. There's an all points bulletin for the vile, cruel murderer who brought you to this point. They didn't receive a name because they went back for the witness and they were nowhere around. Dia,
Nope.
having the intel for the situation, what is it you tell the men as the examiner finally calms? You've seen that look before. It is the euphoric sense that humans receive, especially those who are gifted with very fine vintage. She is literally caught in what freezes and has frozen of your clan for years, the sheer beauty of the world around them. Her eyes, big and bright as plates, as she takes in very sparkling and glittering light of. And what are you doing, Dia?
I very carefully and slowly pull away from them. I give her a little bit of a wink and make sure that she's okay sitting where she is. Then I turn to the rest and say, I don't know what happened.
Did we see that? Did we see the report, by the way?
No, you were
The police
in New
report?
York. You just woke up.
No, I was referring to the way he sounded. It sounded like there was a TV in the morning.
No, that was her taking in the lights and everything else around her.
Oh, okay. I was just making sure. Okay, my bad.
So
I just sigh and say, "What happened?"
apparently
Hard.
there was somebody in your room you were shooting at. And then when I
Oh,
came
wait. What?
That's ancient history at this point.
Ancient
Let's
history.
finish so we can get the hell out of here.
I need my bandage for my eye.
It's a fucking morgue. Pick another.
I hate you. I say as I pick up a bandage and walk out.
She does have a point, though, actually. She does have a point.
The feeling is mutual.
Where are you going?
Anyway,
I'm going to try to find a back entrance and try to avoid as many people as possible.
So you do realize that we're in a city that we don't belong in a town that we don't know about, and we have cops all over. But you're going to.
I look to Dami and say, I'd rather take my chances in hiding than try to deal and try to figure out what the fuck is going on my own. Personally, spiritually, and just all around everything. Than be with a person that clearly hates my guts and vice versa.
You hung around Everett all this time.
Reluctantly. And that was before he betrayed me. So,
Oh wait,
Yeah,
Everett.
we still have to get the princess, because if not, we're all going to be hanging from a tree, if you get my drift.
oh boo-hoo, we can just leave the city. I can just leave the city.
No. You don't understand. Everett roped all of us into this, and if we don't,
And
we're
he's
gonna have a
dead.
bloodbath. And
Everett is dead, all because somebody somehow found a lupine in a group of vampire hunters. I don't even know how that fucking works, by the way. I tried to stop him. I tried to save his ass. But no. Now he's dead, and I can't even hate him because he's dead.
I mean, I'm just fine.
I did. Was burned.
Do you? You got us into this. If we don't find the princess and become the tower's favorite pets, we're going to be killed. Period. Point blank.
That sucks. But then again, aren't constantly your kind hunted all the bloody fucking time? Seriously. Have you seen how much you guys hide?
No.
well, the thing is, what you're not understanding is the fact that Everett is dead will be taken out on those who didn't prevent it from happening, and you really don't want his sire on your ass. So,
I say, picking up a scalpel and about to throw it at her as I put it down. Fuck you. I'm
do
tired.
as you please.
You.
Because then I will have your ass.
Oh, you will have my ass? The person
yes.
who tried to save his fucking life by putting him out so that I could stake him and bring him into a safe place. But no, a fucking werewolf appeared, and now I have to deal with you being an asshole with a stake up your ass. Figuratively, because if I had my way, it would be literal.
2, Primogen. 2 will have your head if you continue. Keep it. Keep it up.
I say as I'm basically fighting off a fury frenzy as the eye opens again. You do realize I'm already being fucking hunted by you guys for the longest time.
Don't care.
I was trying to bring you in so that you wouldn't be.
Which means, F you.
We either finish this mission or we all gonna end up dead. Your choice.
Dia looks at Dami. Why did you wake him? Honestly.
Leave no man behind.
And he is a better man than you. I say, looking to Dia. You're the kind of person I hate. A monster. A freak.
My dick is bigger than yours.
I don't fucking care how big your dick is. You're still a heartless, soulless beast. And if I get my way,
takes one
next
to know
we
one,
meet,
darling.
It's not like any of them work, so measuring con doesn't really matter at this point. Can we resolve our
I don't know about you, but mine still works. But
mine does not actually. It actually stopped working a while back, but that's not the point.
Oh, well, I'm sorry about you guys. Didn't know that. That's a shame. Anyway, let's get the hell out of this morgue before something weird happens.
Yeah, planning on it, I say, grabbing the bandage and then trying to take the exit out. If I see you again, you know what? We'll meet up again later. But for now, I need a second to think.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. Several things become very, very obvious. David and Dami, when you drove in, you all were paranoid enough to keep looking around and finding all of the very, very many multiplicity of cameras that were just out of the way at slightly odd angles and literally carpeting the city. The worst part of which was the depression that seemed overwhelming. And having met Decker and knowing how much of a zealot he was in hunting down the lupine, you were sure that time that it was for that purpose. And while on the surface, the other surface is to allow things such as an airdropped cadre of pine hunters. The other aspect of that is for moments when kindred out themselves and are taken to the morgue, arrange a rescue mission so that they can be properly punished, press ganged into service. Your status as diplomat, of course, would drop and lost if, for instance, you broke one of the many cardinals of every kindred, which is the masquerade itself. So as you all sneak, and we're going to give everyone an immediate success at sneaking out of the morgue to find a vehicle, you find that you are not the only attempted to mount a rescue, Dia. By far the quickest, because you were able there with the bushes. There are 5 new are the basically Primogen Council Milwaukee. They have with their retainers, and they have come in force en masse to utilize all of their ability, physical, mental, to make sure interlopers from outside of the city are brought to heel.
I close my eyes, taking a deep breath. Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's good to see you at your feet. Would you be so kind as to come with us? And with those words spoken by Rothgar, the tall Conan-esque barbarian you all saw wielding a bearded axe and a sword in his assault on a lupine, we bring this week's episode to a close. The potentialities for what comes next for the coder will come down to their ability to speak for themselves, will come down to their ability to present their case in the most litigious manner possible to skirt around the very real fact that they were a hair's breadth from proving that kindred exists. Thanks for showing up, everybody. I will see you all 2 weeks because we're now moving to every other week for our Chronicle. I want to thank you for all the time that we've had thus far, and I will